All right, welcome back, everybody, to the channel. And today, it's finally the long-awaited video about my top 5 Dragon Ball characters. It's just been a while in the time of writing for this video. I have not had that time, actually. But in all seriousness, it's just been... I promised this video like 2 weeks ago, but I just never really got around to like writing down the whole like script until like last weekend. I had some time to kill. I've always had time to kill, but I have sadly other interests than writing down a video about Dragon Ball all the time. Actually, that in Dragon Ball just hasn't been on the mind lately, because I've just been engulfed in other projects, bigger videos that I will have coming up soon. But today, I think it is finally time, since a lot of you have asked what are my favorite Dragon Ball characters, and it's always been a tough decision because for me, like when it comes down to TV shows, like favorite characters, and I don't even watch that many TV shows to begin with. I'm more of a video game sports guy. I don't really watch movies and TV like that. But when I do, I notice I get very invested in a show because I don't normally watch a show. So if it grabs my interest, I know I know it's good. Like, nothing grabs my interest if it's just run of the mill, something I can see on Netflix if I really wanted to, or Disney or something. If it's just run it, like, you know what I mean? Like Disney's live action remakes don't catch my interest. Most of Netflix's generic teen shows, teen college drama shows don't really catch my interest that much. Um, and Hulu's just off-brand Netflix, so like I probably just triggered a bunch of Hulu fans, but that's just how I see it. um, it's just Netflix with just more shows and less original content. It's really all it is for me. And so when I have those type of things, so when it comes down to like shows like Dragon Ball, it's like, oh my gosh, like characters are what grab me the most, and for characters to be great, like for them to be in my top 5, because I can watch an entire show and not have any favorite characters. If the plot's just good, but I don't really like the characters, that's fine, as long as you give me a good plot and memorable characters, but I might not ever have favorites. So Dragon Ball was the show kind of like that, where like I've had a lot of like characters who I really liked, but I could never really be like, oh yeah, I like Vegeta so much better than I like Goku, because like there's just, we'll get into it. Actually, we'll get into that whole Vegeta and Goku debate surely soon enough, so I'll save that for later. But without further ado, let's get into this. So at number 5, now this character would have been higher, and I mean really higher, but I feel like Dragon Ball Super kind of just really didn't do it for me with this character, and that is Piccolo. And I've always liked Piccolo in terms of just being the guy that was just kind of like he was like, he's always been like the dude who's not the strongest, but he's not even like one of the weakest. He's like always one of the strongest. He's like that third strong dude, but like he's just not, good enough to take on the main villain kind of deal. He's not a sidekick. He's basically a standalone superhero, but he's no Tony Stark or, Captain America. He's not going to get the most screen time out of all the guys. But whenever he does do something, it's very memorable. For instance, Piccolo being the first person to kill Goku. I know it wasn't like, he didn't just straight up kill Goku in battle. But in theory, Piccolo was the first person to kill Goku because, obviously helping you all know the story. Goku grabs Raditz and, has to sacrifice himself. But I think that was when I first started to like Piccolo. Because, like, in the original Dragon Ball, I never really liked him too much when I was watching that, just because he was kind of just a generic bad guy. I'm here to get revenge on you, Goku. Just typical generic stuff that you see in movies and shows all the time. Bad guy's son is out for revenge, typical shit. And it was kind of boring because it's very typical. It doesn't play out. It plays out the way you think it does. Goku beats him and da-da-da. But then Goku doesn't kill him because killing is wrong and it will just create more vengeance and da-da-da-da. And yeah, whatever. But then Piccolo, after training Gohan. But see, people act, and I love this, people act like Piccolo has always been so great to Gohan. That's not even close to the case. And that's how you can tell an actual fan of Dragon Ball versus someone who was just into it probably when it was like, first came out, and then acts like, I hate those type of fans, because they'll tell someone like me who's been just watching this show forever, like, oh, but Goku doesn't act like a father to Gohan. Piccolo does. And it's like, have you watched the series? Like, Piccolo, in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, literally threw Gohan off a fucking cliff. Yeah, Gohan turned out okay because Gohan has superpowers, and Gohan activated them at the exact right time that he had to, otherwise he actually would have died. But Piccolo would not have cared. He literally said, "This is your test," and threw him off a cliff. And if he died, he died. He wasn't strong enough. Oh well, that's how Piccolo looked at it. And he was a piece of shit to Gohan. Those whole 2 years that they were training together. Gohan may have respected Piccolo because, Piccolo trained him up to be strong, but that's just because of Gohan's nice nature. You know what I mean? Had that been any other character, I'm pretty sure there'd have been a lot of bad blood and animosity and sort of like, I'm going to kill my master kind of storyline going on there. And not only that, but it was kind of that point when I saw Piccolo as a different character though, because I liked how it was showing he would do whatever it took to survive. He would train Goku's son if that's what it took to beat the Saiyans to survive. Because he knew he wasn't going to be able to beat him. He knew, especially without Goku, he needed, well, the next best thing, his son. You know what I mean? Train up his son so that way maybe they could defeat the Saiyans. But not only that, but that was like the first time we really got to see Piccolo as a character. And then I liked how in the Frieza saga, just kind of jumping around a bit here, but in the Frieza saga, I really do like how when he learns about Namek, I thought that was a very interesting thing because like we don't really get to see Goku and Vegeta, react to Planet Vegeta, obviously because Planet Vegeta is destroyed. Which I thought this was a very neat take in Dragon Ball Super Broly, by the way, when they had Goku and Vegeta see Broly and Paragus and just like were so surprised of other Saiyans. I kind of like that idea. Like it's just a nice way to show the show all the different sides of the characters. Like, and you see Piccolo's like more just kind of like angry side vanish when he fuses with Nail, like because Nail's more calm personality. That's when Piccolo, by the way, actually really starts to become a legit good guy. People don't understand this, but again, it's fine. I'm not blaming people for not. It's kind of subtle. You have to pick up on it, but they do mention it that Nail, like when Namekians fuse, unlike the regular fusion, like fusion highs, unlike that shit. When Namekians fuse, obviously it's permanent, but not only that, but the personalities also merge. So, if you're wondering, if you ever watch the series and you wonder why Piccolo just becomes so much more of a, like, he was never really like an evil prick, I guess, at the beginning of Z. He wasn't killing anybody or anything, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're ever wondering why Piccolo after the Frieza saga seemed to just be a lot more chill, like in general, just more chill and less bloodthirsty when he fights people, is because Nail is, their personalities fuse, so it becomes more of a balanced aggression, I guess. And then he fuses Akami. That's all she wrote of his evil aggression. So, but not only that, but Piccolo just always has been like the wise character as well. I always like the wise guys. The guys who have all the knowledge and just kind of are exposition dumps for the plot, basically. But no, it's just always pretty cool. I always think Piccolo has some pretty great fights. I even think in Dragon Ball Super, where he's not really shown off too much, and because it's the Goku and Vegeta show, but I still think that fight with Frost was pretty cool. I wish he would have done more in the Tournament of Power, but I understand why he didn't. And I also like his fight with 17. I like his fight with Goku and Raditz. I like his fight against Nappa. I like him not dying. His fight against Second Form Frieza was pretty cool. Piccolo has a lot of entertaining fights, and I think that's like a huge thing that you got to look out for when it comes to especially Dragon Ball, or I feel like anime or like any show that has like action involved, like action super heavily. You know what I mean? Like who the characters and what they do in an action like driven series is what makes it all, so if the character is great but has no entertaining like fight scenes in an action series, then it's kind of just like, well, whatever, you know what I mean? Like they're just a character at that point. They don't really add much to the story, because action, sadly, in an action series is part of the story, so you got to make that entertaining. If this was a TV drama, Piccolo would be one of the worst characters ever, because he's very shallow, he has a lot of character arc, but it's after a while he just stops and he becomes just kind of like the old wise man kind of character. And if he was TV drama, you'd hate Piccolo. You'd think he's a very rushed, poorly written character, but in an action series, he's great. And that's why I love the different types of TV out there. It just really makes you wonder sometimes, like, man, how do these people come up with this stuff? But anyway, coming in at number 4, Well, you can't have Piccolo without Gohan on the list, can you? So, Gohan is one of those characters for me that I feel like gets a bad reputation because people don't understand Gohan's character. People want Gohan to be like Goku, but that's never been Gohan. And I don't get where people get this from. I think they're the same people that will see Gohan fight. Okay, this is what it really is. They'll see Gohan, fight Cell, and then they get mad that Gohan, when he in the Buu saga isn't training and all. But it's like, do you fucking idiots? Do you? This is what I'm saying. Like, do you? This is how you could tell who's an actual Dragon Ball fan and who's just a popular clout chaser. Do you actually watch the series? Gohan has never ever wanted to fight anyone at all. It was said from the very beginning when Piccolo tried to train him, I don't want to be a killer. I don't want to be a fighter. I want to be a scholar. Right then and there, it was said. And then, this didn't change as he grew up. Yeah, Gohan went to Namek, but the only reason Gohan went to Namek was because he felt like he had to. Because Tien, and he saw Tien, Yamcha, and Piccolo, and many others die protecting him. So he felt like he had to. He owed it to them to go to Namek and get the Dragon Balls. And he only fought Cell because Cell was going to obviously destroy everything. And he even doesn't even fight Cell like that right away because he keeps begging Cell just to stop because he doesn't want to destroy him. So it's like, where do you people? And then only reason Gohan fought like he did when he went Super Saiyan 2 was because he just happened to be super angry. Otherwise, Gohan has never been like Goku or Vegeta. Not even close. He's always been his own thing. And I get it. I would have loved to see Gohan become like the next Uber guy, but that's not his character. It would have been an absolute betrayal to Gohan's character if he started acting like Goku in the Majin Buu saga and became like this OP fighter dude. Like, that would have been an absolute betrayal because Gohan has always wanted to be a scholar. Hence why when he married Videl, he's a scholar. And people are, it's like people like view that as well. Like, oh, Gohan and Goku don't have an actual father-son relationship. And it's like, again, that's just for people that don't watch the series, like Goku and Gohan spend as much quality time together as they can. It's not their fault that that they have to deal with, they can't just ignore evil when it shows up on Earth. They can't just look at a blind eye with the powers that they have. It's kind of like one of those things, it's basically the whole great power, great responsibility kind of thing. It's not their fault that they have to go save people when the time calls, and it's not Goku's fault that he had to die against Raditz to save Gohan, by the way. But again, we'll get into that whole Goku stuff in a minute. Anyway, as you can assume, I've already hinted he will be on the list at some point. But we're talking about Gohan, so we keep it Gohan related here. Gohan is still a great character because he stuck to his morals. He didn't change. And it would not have made sense for him to change because after Cell was defeated, there was 7 years of peace. Why would Gohan really want to think that he has to train? And then you can argue about Majin Buu and blah, 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 but how would anyone have known about Majin Buu before that even happened? There's 7 years of peace. Gohan didn't need to train. He spent that time studying, getting good grades in school, just like Chi-Chi wanted, just like he wanted, because that's what Gohan wants. He never wanted to be like Goku. So I just don't understand why people hate him so much after the Cell Saga, because I feel like there's a certain amount of fans out there who just never really paid attention to what Gohan was actually saying, and they just saw this like kid who could kick ass and thought that was cool, but they never actually paid attention to like what is he actually saying when he's doing this stuff. Gohan is never in fact Gohan is actually, even as a kid, was scared to fight because he knew that he wasn't strong enough. So, remember against the Ginyu Force, how scared he was, and he only jumped in when Krillin was on the brink of death after getting kicked by Raccoon, pretty much. And then that was the only time he jumped in that fight. Otherwise, he was scared to death. He didn't want to do anything. So, and then against Nappa, he was scared, and then he was only not scared against Cell because he had already fought, many different beings up to that point. And at the battle, actually, he was scared of Frieza as well. So, and I guess who wouldn't really have been scared of Frieza up until that point? Frieza was an absolute monster. So I mean, I guess I'd be scared of Frieza too, man. Shit, but in all seriousness, Gohan he's not without his flaws. I think there's a few things that I don't like about him, and that it's more towards the Dragon Ball Super era of Gohan, where he's a lot more. They try to use him, and I hated that one speech in the Tournament of Power when he was all like, "Oh, it was his idea not to tell everybody that if they lose the tournament, the universe will be erased." And it's like, Gohan, does that even why no, like his idea of not telling everyone was because, well, if we tell everyone it would cause a panic. But these guys have been in plenty of life or death situations. What is the difference between at this point, what is the difference between the universe getting erased versus you guys are all alone on planet Namek fighting Frieza with no escape, and the only way you can win is to beat him, and it just so happens that Goku went Super Saiyan, but you still were on a planet that was about to explode and all this crazy shit. What is the difference between, like, you already been in basically life or death, world-ending scenarios before, with with much eviler people. Like, at least in that sense, it was like a tournament. So if you won, you won, and you didn't get erased. And so I just never understood that whole point. I didn't think that was a good move. It kind of made Gohan look like an idiot, because it's just kind of like, well, that's like if Tony Stark in Avengers Endgame was like, well, guys, we really shouldn't, try to tell everyone, or we really shouldn't try to, like, or no, he did say to try to not bring everybody back. Oh, wow. Story writing these days. But anyway, um, I forgot. He actually did do that. Well, okay, better example. That would be like Steve Rogers trying to be like, oh no, let's just not bring everybody back. Let's just try to fight Thanos. So it's just kind of like, it doesn't really. Let's keep it a secret, and let's keep it a secret, and just let's keep a secret like what happened, and just try to fight Thanos ourselves. Like, that wouldn't. Why? Because people will get scared. People are already scared, sir. But yeah, Gohan. I mean, I thought that was a kind of a lame moment, because it was just drawn out too. Because we had like 3 episodes of the whole Tournament of Power based around Goku then going around recruiting people, and just it's kind of annoying, and it all stems from Gohan's dumb idea. Um, Outside of that, I think in Dragon Ball Super, Gohan really does get some moments. I think it actually makes sense that he didn't fight against Frieza, because he wasn't training at that point, and it makes sense that he went so easily down to Frieza, because Gohan wasn't even really training, and he's probably still about as strong as he was when he fought Cell. Maybe that he really hadn't improved all that much, because he just stopped training. Obviously, he lost his ultimate form, and he just all that potential it got lost. It's like a fighter who just stops fighting after a while. But what I like about it is in Dragon Ball Super, we got to see throughout all the arcs, Gohan regained his training, because after Frieza, he was all like, "Nah, dude, I can't let this happen again." That shows that Gohan is, he's not a fighter, but see, Gohan's the type of person that, like, when it comes down to protecting his family, his friends, and the Earth, and all that kind of stuff, and the innocent lives, he will then train, he will then get stronger, and he will fight. And so I liked how he saw after Frieza was defeated, he was all like, I can't just keep relying on Goku or Dad and Vegeta to show up every time and bail us out whenever we get in a pinch like that. I need to get stronger so that way I can fight myself. And then, as we saw throughout the Tournament of Power, Gohan really did what he actually, that wasn't just a throwaway line that he was adding in there to sound very stalwart and altruistic, but he was actually serious. Like, he started training again, and then with the help of Piccolo, he really was able to bring out even a new level of power. And now he even says that his new goal is, he doesn't want to go down the route of Goku and Vegeta and get Super Saiyan Blue. He wants to do something that no one's ever done before and go his own way. Anyway, Gohan honestly is one of those characters that he falls into the category type of the peaceful heart characters. I always like these type of characters, because Gohan, again, he doesn't like to fight. He doesn't want to hurt. Even if you're bad, even if you're a bad guy, Gohan does not want to hurt. It's not his thing. And he only fights when it is the absolute last option. And I always like those type of characters, because it's just like that. It just brings more. It makes every moment that they have way more powerful because of that. Because they're not just like, oh, let's get in a fight here. Let's get in a fight over there. Let's fight this guy over here. Like, certain other Dragon Ball characters. Goku. Goku. Anyway, sorry about that. I just had a weird cough there. So, yeah. Gohan is easily number 4. He has to be on the list. He's easily one of the best Dragon Ball characters that there ever was. And even till this day, he's still getting good moments. So I'm not afraid for Gohan's character anytime soon. Piccolo's, yes, I think at a certain point, Piccolo might get off this list somehow, some way, if we ever redo this list in the future someday. All right, coming in at number 3, this is kind of a cheat, but it's not a cheat, but it is a cheat because it's 2 characters in one. But I feel like you take away one of them, it doesn't work as well, and that is Beerus and Whis. Are there any 2 characters that are more important to modern day Dragon Ball than Beerus and Whis? Outside of Goku and Vegeta, of course. Obviously, Chatsu as well. I'm just kidding. Have we even seen Chatsu in Dragon Ball Super? Has he been in an episode? Like, I'm actually serious. Has he even been in an episode? Is there an episode in Dragon Ball Super where Chatsu is seen? I have to look this up after this video, because I swear to God, I've been rewatching Dragon Ball Super, and I'm on episode 70, right? And I have not seen Chatsu. And all 70 of them, and maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. Maybe he will appear. I think he actually did appear one time in the Tien episode in the Tournament of Power. Maybe. I don't remember, but I think he did. I swear to God, he was there, like, as a background. Like, he was just in the background. He didn't even have a speaking line. I swear to God, because I remember making fun of that a long time ago. But, oh, Chatsu. Maybe when I do a top 5 worst Dragon Ball characters, let me know down in the comments if you want to see a top 5 worst Dragon Ball characters. I might elaborate more on my feelings towards Mr. Chatsu and why I don't really like Mr. Chatsu. But that's a whole story for another day. But Beerus and Whis, honestly, are like the epitome of modern day Dragon Ball. I don't think you can have modern Dragon Ball without Beerus and Whis, because they added so much to the story after, being... I mean, and here's the thing. Dragon Ball Z ended with Majin Buu, and Dragon Ball GT was not canon. It's not really canon to Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball GT is more of a what if as of right now. You know what I mean? It's Dragon Ball GT, like Super Saiyan 4 and all that stuff, doesn't actually exist in the canon timeline of Dragon Ball. So most fans know this, but in case you don't, this is the story kind of the background. This is why I think it's so important this is why I think Beerus and Whis are just so important, because before them, it was just always the Buu Saga was the true ending to Dragon Ball. And that was like the ending to Dragon Ball. Like, Goku flies off with Oob to train him. I still don't really like that part of the ending, but, whatever. But as Dragon Ball GT ended, we never really got to see like characters that were like truly stronger than Majin Buu and like Super Saiyan 3 Goku and all them in the canon sense. And I mean, I'm not saying I would, I guess you could say that at the time most of us would assume that GT was canon, like Super Saiyan 4 and all that was canon. At least because we had nothing else, you know what I mean? There was nothing else ever to continue Dragon Ball after GT, so why, most fans would just assume that, Super Saiyan 4 and all that is the strongest stuff. But it never was canon, so it never could be legitimate. You know what I mean? It never was truly legitimate storytelling written by Akira Toriyama, not just some corporate executives who want to make money off Dragon Ball. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's basically what Dragon Ball GT was. You know what I mean? It's not written by the original author. It's why Dragon Ball GT is so jarring compared to the rest of the series, like, just by looks alone, is because it's just a bunch of corporate suits who wanted to make money off a popular thing like Dragon Ball. Don't mean I don't love Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 is easily still the best Super Saiyan transformation, but we're getting off topic. So that's a story for another day. Yes, and just by the way, I am rating it above the God forms and all that because fuck gods. Nah, I'm just kidding. But Beerus and Whis, when they were introduced, were finally the first canon characters. And I know I just said fuck gods, but they were just, I know I just said that, but that was a joke, because in all reality, I think the whole godly stuff in Dragon Ball was probably the coolest stuff we got out of the series in a long time. I'm talking like next to the original Super Saiyan long time. Like, the idea of Super Saiyan God was so interesting, and it all comes back to Beerus, because Beerus was the character who like told us about it. And I like how Beerus nowadays is like a very comic relief character, but he's like super strong and he's a god of destruction. He can eliminate anything with well, not anything, obviously. And I actually like that. At first, it seemed like Beerus really was like this character who can defeat anything, and then we learned that Whis is actually his trainer. It was pretty. It was like it was kind of like a nice twist because throughout the movie, or even if you're just watching Dragon Ball Super, it's like Beerus is like the leader. He's always bossing Whis around and making him do everything for him. But when he fight after Beerus fights Super Saiyan God Goku and tells him like, actually, I'm not even the strongest. I'm not even the strongest. That guy over there, who's always waiting on me hand and foot, he's my teacher. And Goku's all like, whoa, wait, what? And then that's how we were basically. And then Beerus even talks about there's actually 12 other universes and blah blah blah, and we get the multiverse stuff going on. But I actually like how Beerus, up until like we meet Grand Zeno, is like so just he just doesn't care about anything that anyone says, not even Whis, obviously, because Whis is his teacher. But then when we finally see Beerus meet Grand Zeno, he starts taking his God of Destruction job a lot more seriously. Although he is much more of a comic relief character, I would say towards the end of Dragon Ball Super, he kind of becomes, because it feels like the writers almost don't know what to do with him sometimes. But at the same time, I do respect that he's playing, in the current day right now, he's playing the role of Vegeta's master, while Whis is playing the role of Goku's master. And it fits both of their personalities, because if you think about it, Beerus would just be a godly version of Vegeta who's lived for multiple thousands of years. And Goku would just be, or Whis would be in, a godly version of Goku in a sense, with no cares to the actual world of what's going on, and just kind of chilling most of the time and just training. Like that's all Goku really does. Goku doesn't have. I mean, I know we see Goku fight all the bad guys, but seriously, unlike actual superheroes and blah blah blah, does Goku give like these miraculous speeches or anything, or does he just say, let's just fight? Like, like that's why Goku is such an interesting character, is because he is the hero, but he's a very untypical hero. It's more of like a hero who just happens to do what's right, rather than even like thinking about what's right or wrong. Anyway, Beerus and Whis. The only thing I only knock it, I guess I can give Beerus and Whis. I love their designs. I think their designs are some of the most creative designs, like Beerus being this purple cat and, Whis being this angel. And I always like that. Like Whis, we didn't really know what Whis was until like the Goku Black arc. And that's when we finally learned that like Whis was an angel. And it was like, oh wait, what does an angel mean? And so there's still a lot more to come, as obviously these guys are part of modern Dragon Ball. So there's still more stories to come down the line with them. And only time will tell to see exactly where they are. But I'm very interested in what they will play in Dragon Ball Super's end, given that Dragon Ball Super takes place within the 10 years of the defeat of Majin Buu and the end of Z. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that Dragon Ball Super takes place after the end of Z. But in case you're not aware, after Majin Buu was defeated, we had a 10-year time skip, and then we had the end of Z. So Dragon Ball Super takes place within that 10-year time skip. But obviously, because it's Dragon Ball Z, there were no Beerus and Whis at the end of Dragon Ball Z. So I'm curious to see just how they explain that one away. They got their work cut out for them, because I know for a fact if they try to retcon the end of Z, I know all of the hardcore Dragon Ball Z is the best fanboys will just probably go to Japan and burn down Toei Animation Studios. I would almost not be surprised with all the burning shit down that we have already. You don't think that Dragon Ball can make people burn shit down? I'll tell you, man. I feel like if they retcon the end of Z, it would not be fun. It would be like the Packers trading away Aaron Rodgers. The fan base wouldn't like it, and I know, and no matter how much anyone says to do it, if you want your job, I'm just gonna say this, all right? To anyone who's a Green Bay Packer manager or a Toei Animation employee, if you want your job, you will not do either of those two things. That's all I gotta say. If you care about your job, you will not do either of those things. You will not retcon the end of Z, and if you are working for the Green Bay Packers, you will do everything in your power to convince them not to trade away Aaron Rodgers after 2022, if they ever wanted to. There's a certain type of moves that you don't make in a franchise that just it would just piss off too many people. And even if like you were to get something out of it, I just don't think it would be the right move. I don't think you can retcon the end of Z as easily as a lot of people think, because it's so synonymous. Like Dragon Ball Z was so much to like a lot of people that I feel like if you retcon the ending, it would just be, I don't know, it would just be absolute pandemonium in the fan base. I just know that for sure. But that's a story for a different day. Beerus and Whis, however, are here to stay, and I cannot wait to see even more of them. I hope we get to see Beerus even fight, because the only fight we ever got to see was against Super Saiyan God Goku, and ever since then, we've only been teased of his power. But we know that now that Goku has Ultra Instinct, he has to be somewhat as strong as Beerus, right? I mean, or stronger. Like, there's no way Beerus can be stronger than Goku at this point. I absolutely refuse to believe it. I'm serious. I absolutely refuse to believe that Beerus is even anywhere near as strong as Ultra Instinct Goku, who can go Ultra Instinct at will now. I absolutely refuse to believe that Beerus is and I swear to God, if we get I'm only using the 80% of my power line, I'm going to burn Toei Animation Studios down. And for legal reasons, that's a joke. All right, coming in at number 2 is a character that I know a lot of people would have at number 1, but that is going to be Vegeta. Yeah, I probably got you, didn't I? A lot of you probably always assume Vegeta's on number 1. Oh, Vegeta, this is all he ever hears. And you know what? I love Vegeta, don't get me wrong. I think Vegeta is, well, I think he's a second place character. That's for sure. But, going off of a real compliment that I'm going to give him here, I think he's probably one of the actual characters that has truly, really changed the most and actually went through the most legit development, change throughout the series, I would say. Because how he starts off as being a main bad guy. First of all, he was a main bad guy. He wasn't just a henchman of Frieza or something. He was actually a main bad guy in the Saiyan Saga. He was the main dude. He was the main every villain is lemons, as Mermaid Man would say. He was the main evil. And you don't see that. You never really get to see the main bad guy. It's always like a henchman or the bad guy's son who's misguided or something, like Piccolo or something. You know what I mean? It's never really like, you don't see Cell all of a sudden showing up and be like, yeah, guys, I'm ready to do good in his perfect Cell voice. That was a terrible Cell voice, but you don't really see that. And so I guess Majin Buu. But Vegeta did it first. Fuck Majin Buu. Fat piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. But Vegeta just, I think that was the greatest part of his character, definitely, was seeing that change of absolute evil to father man. He's a father. He's a man of his house now. He's got a wife. He takes care of his family. Just seeing that change from this evil asshole who actually was going to blow up the earth because he couldn't stand losing, or he couldn't stand the fact that Goku happened to be stronger than him for like 2 seconds, because, Goku had the Kaioken. I don't understand why Vegeta flipped out so hard. He was still stronger than Goku. Goku only got the better of him because he used the Kaioken. And even after the Kaioken, it's not like Vegeta was defeated. He actually was still, a lot of people assume that Vegeta needed the power of the Great Ape to defeat Goku, but it's not exactly made clear if he could have maybe kept fighting, because, Goku couldn't just keep using the Kaioken like that. Even after Vegeta took a ×4 Kaioken Kamehameha, he was still alive. He still could fly around. He was still able to fight. So who knows what would have happened. But he did go Great Ape, and that was, so technically Vegeta won their fight, I guess, but he still lost against the Earthlings, though. And yeah, so I give him that. I think that is just what I love about Vegeta the most, was seeing that change. But not only that, but I always liked Vegeta's overall motivation. It stems from just being a Saiyan. He was the prince of the Saiyans. He saw that all ripped away from him, right? So now he wants to make up for it by becoming the strongest Saiyan. And then when he goes to the Earth, he sees that there's a Saiyan on Earth who happened to be stronger than him, and it just tears his whole world down, because he was for his whole life, he was touted to be the strongest Saiyan. You're the strongest. You're the prince. You're the best. and then finally he goes to Earth and gets his ass kicked by another a Saiyan who's a low class warrior who was sent off of the planet because he sucks so much at birth that they literally sent this low class warrior to a different planet, just like they do all the other low class Saiyans. And you know, seeing that Saiyan is the one who would become the Super Saiyan before you did, had to hurt his ego a tremendous amount. Like, you gotta understand, Vegeta is a narcissist. So that's why I think it's interesting when I see people say they love Vegeta, because I'm like, if you like him more than Goku, then that, what does that say about you, kind of deal. But that's neither here or there. But Vegeta is a narcissist, at least at the beginning of the series. I'm not saying that he doesn't change. He does change, but he's also a narcissist. Because he's always touted, he was always told he's the greatest, he's the best, he can do all this stuff, he's the strongest Saiyan. When he sees Goku become a Super Saiyan before he does, and then when he sees future Trunks all of a sudden show up and go Super Saiyan and take out Frieza like it was nothing, a guy who made Vegeta basically bend a knee to him all the time and treated Vegeta like trash, he just sees two other Saiyans absolutely dispose of this man, and he can't even go Super Saiyan yet, and he's the prince. You know, you got to understand that obviously this is why Vegeta started becoming. This is what started his change, was because he realized he needed to change if he was ever going to become a Super Saiyan. He couldn't, because it wasn't working doing it the way he was doing it. Clearly Goku was found some other way. Clearly Trunks found something that allowed him to become a Super Saiyan. And I like how Vegeta did become a Super Saiyan. I thought it was interesting how he became a Super Saiyan, not through pure heart or anger. It was pure rage at the fact of not being the strongest Saiyan. And that's how we know you awaken, obviously, the power of a Super Saiyan. As a Saiyan, you have to, I said Saiyan like 20 times, but if you want to awaken the power of a Super Saiyan as a Saiyan, you have to find the motivation and the anger to do it. And you gotta be at your base limits. You know, you already have to be at, almost assuming, you basically have to be at your base peak, and then you can reach the power of a Super Saiyan through sheer willpower and anger alone, with rigorous training. It's basically like an emotion. It's an emotional response in the bloodline of the Saiyans, pretty much. That's really what it is. So it's an emotional response that turns the bloodthirsting rage into power. So he got it through not being raged at Krillin dying or Trunks seeing future Gohan die. Vegeta got it just from, not wanting to be fucking the, second best. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And you got to look at, everything that Vegeta's gone through his whole life. It's kind of led up to shape him into that. But then what I like about Vegeta is he's found a way to take this narcissistic tendency into a positive trait. If that's even possible, but he manages to do it by because he's the Prince of all Saiyans, he uses that as a reason to uphold himself to be better. That's just something interesting. Like, it's kind of narcissistic, like, oh, I'm this, so I'm naturally have to be better. But he holds himself to it. Like, he says, no, I have to be better because, now he's the prince. Now he must conduct himself like a prince. And I just like how in the current day of Dragon Ball, especially, Vegeta is willing to admit that no matter what, he sees himself not even as an Earthling or a Saiyan anymore. He just kind of sees himself as, or not, he doesn't see himself as a Saiyan almost. He sees himself more as an Earthling now, because and I actually like seeing how Vegeta starts to care. I don't know, like Dragon Ball Super kind of showed me a lot about, he showed us a lot of Vegeta's development, I like how he was the one who fed those homeless people in the Goku Black arc, that the Vegeta of the Cell games would have never have done that. The Vegeta of the Universe 6 arc who trained Cabba to help him become a Super Saiyan would have just told Cabba to work hard and do it on your own and blah, 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 if this had been the Vegeta of the Buu Saga. The Vegeta basically willingly helped Cabba become a Super Saiyan, and actually started becoming more of like a master-student relationship with Cabba. I thought that was pretty interesting. We never really get to see that with Vegeta, like him actually train other people. We never really see that. He's always like, I don't want to train any other people. Everyone gets strong on their own, just like that's always been his thing. But we always see Goku train other people. Goku gets strong, but see, that's the thing is Goku never. Even people think that Goku got strong on his own. Actually, we'll get into this in a second. But Vegeta always like how he is basically what we would all want to be in our current day selves, like as humans. We all want to have a family. We all want to have a stable job. Like, him and Bulma are the richest couple in the world. I'm not saying we all want to be the richest couple in the world. Some of us do, but all of us at least want, money and stability, want to have a family. We want to just live out our lives in peace and harmony with our families. That's what a lot of us want. And a lot of, especially men want to be like we always want to take care of the family and stuff. And that's kind of what Vegeta is. And so, like, I can understand, like, if you don't look at life through any sort of metaphysical way like I do, then I can understand Vegeta is probably the best character in the series. But if you are like me, and you don't want just 2 kids and a wife, you don't want all that basic shit. You look at life through a lot more metaphysical walls and barriers and learn every single day. Well, then here's the deal. I should say this. It's not even really about basic shit. It's just, honestly, it's one of my core values, and I blame Goku for it. This is why Goku is the number 1 character in Dragon Ball. Don't at me. I love the philosophy of Son Goku. And it's not even a philosophy. It's just a way of living. He he has no earthly pursuits. He doesn't care about being the best. He doesn't want to he doesn't even care about anything. Like, all of the normal human shit, like, all good and evil, right and wrong, being the best, the job, da-da-da-da. All Goku cares about at the end of the day is, well, his family, because he has a family. If he didn't have a family, Goku would be the same guy. That's funny. You know what I mean? Because how many of us, if we didn't have a family, would be the same dude? But Goku just wouldn't give a fuck. He'd live life the same way he did. But his friends and family and getting stronger. That's it. Not money, not anything else. Not being the prince of all Saiyans. Not being the little bitch boy that's touted out as the best. Da-da-da-da. No. Not Vegeta shit. It's actually interesting. Like, this interests me a lot because it's like, it's always interesting to say, like, who would you rather be, Goku or Vegeta? A lot of people would probably, I would say, like, pick Vegeta because he's got a hot ass wife, he's got all the money, he's really strong and powerful, he's got a nice family and da 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 da. But I would when you really think about it, would you want to be Goku? He's strong and powerful, but he's essentially brainless, at least as far as we're concerned. He doesn't seem to have any morality. He doesn't really even seem to have any, like, plans for the future. He kind of just lives life. He just doesn't even, he has a son and a wife, and that's about as far as in depth as he gets. That's as like involving as he gets with the actual world. Otherwise, Goku doesn't care about politics. He doesn't care about money. He doesn't have any of that. He doesn't care about going to school or any of this BS that we kind of have to do in the real world. And so I would love to actually live like Goku, where you could just live a life with no earthly pursuits. I think that would be a pretty amazing life. And that's why Goku's always so happy, because he never has any earthly pursuits going on. All Goku wants to do is keep his family happy and get stronger. That's it. That's all he cares about. That's literally it. And even when he fights bad guys, he's not fighting them out of some sort of, I must save the world. It's more of just he wants to test himself. And this is why Vegeta even notes why Goku is stronger than him, is because Goku doesn't fight with any sense of purpose other than just being, he wants to test himself against the best people out there. Just so happens to be some of the strongest people in the universe in Dragon Ball just happen to be assholes. So, it's kind of explained away that Goku only fights, that's not to say that Goku doesn't view killing as a bad thing or killing innocent lives. He clearly does. It's not to say that Goku doesn't fight the bad guys because he doesn't think what they're doing is wrong. Otherwise, if he didn't think what they were doing is wrong, he'd probably just do it himself. But it's more of out of a just simply stopping them rather than any malice. The only time we see Goku fight with malice at an opponent is when one of his friends get killed. Because then it really gets personal. Like, if you're just flying around, destroying everything, Goku can just revive everything with the Dragon Balls once he beats you. And he'll still get mad at you. But once you then personally kill one of his friends, just to spite him, just to show how evil you really are, then it's personal. Then it's over with. Then it's done. He fights with malice. He fights with everything that he has. An absolute machine, a monster. He fights like an absolute monster, basically, you know? But I still like how, even when he does that, he's able to bring himself back and not kill and not do all those things that would make him Vegeta, essentially. And it's not done out of like this dramatic sense of Goku has uphold his morality. It's more just well, why would I even bother killing this person at this point? They clearly can't fight anymore. The fight is over with. Kind of like with Frieza. Frieza chopped himself in half. Goku could have killed him, but didn't, and was just going to leave him there to die instead. Because what would be it wouldn't have been honorable to kill Frieza while he's on the ground and can't move and is chopped in half. Just let him die naturally. Let him have his fate, because it's not honorable in Goku's eyes to kill an opponent who can't even fight back anymore. Had their battle continued and maybe Goku had a real shot at actually killing him, maybe he would have just killed him. But once he saw Frieza get chopped in half by his own attack, and he knew the planet was going to explode anyway, so he was kind of just like, yeah, well, what would have been the point of killing Frieza? He can't even fight back. He's dead, basically. He's chopped in half. He's on the ground, can't move. The planet's going to explode. Maybe I should focus my attention on getting off the planet rather than trying to kill Frieza at this point. And I actually like that, you know. Another thing is people just assume Goku's an idiot, and it's not in the sense that Goku's actually an idiot. Goku actually is pretty damn smart. He's just not academically smart. A lot of people don't see this, but Goku has high emotional intelligence. He's actually very able to really. If you notice, Goku can socialize and make many characters open up about their lives, because Goku has high emotional intelligence. It's actually really seen throughout the series. He's able to read people's minds, read how they're feeling, all that kind of stuff. Hence why, again, just all these things kind of lead up into Ultra Instinct, you know, where he's able to feel and all that kind of crap. And it kind of actually all makes sense as you break it down that Goku really was, why Goku's the only one so far to have obtained Ultra Instinct. Because in order to do this, you have to fight with no sense of mind. And Goku, throughout all his life, has just never really had earthly pursuits or human moralities and all these things. He's always just been the same Goku, and it was that's why it was so much easier for him to pick up on how to fight without thinking and just go off instincts and move and let his body do all the fighting and attain Ultra Instinct. Because he's always been that guy. He's never been like Vegeta trying to fight to prove that he's the greatest Saiyan alive, or you know, something like that. He's always just been the dude who fights because he just wants to fight strong dudes. So you can imagine his easier shift, and that's why Vegeta can't obtain Ultra Instinct, because Vegeta's always thinking of Bulma or something or someone when he fights. So he'll never, ever be able to attain Ultra Instinct as far as it's concerned, and then I'm pretty sure he never will, because in the latest chapters of Dragon Ball Super, he's given up on it because he knows he can't, because he just simply can't live like Goku. And none of us really can, let's be honest. In the real world, none of us really can. You can't just be this guy who's running. I mean, you really fucking could, but good luck to you. You know, like, good luck keeping your relationships in a perfect harmony if you're just going to be training all the time, ignoring everybody, going off for months on almost years, training with gods all the time. And would you even care about them? Would you even care about your life back on Earth if you didn't have a family at that point, actually? Like, even if, and by family, I mean, like, family as in, like, a son and a wife like Goku does. I don't mean just like brothers and sisters and mothers and all that. If you were training with gods and all that, would you really care about any of your mortal life? Like, at that point, you would just be like, fuck that. Is that even my life anymore? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I would look at it. Like, shit, at that point, if I'm mingling with the gods and everything, I probably don't have any time to go back down to living mortal life working a 9 to 5. You know, at that point, it's a little bit, that shit is over with. But no, Goku's overall mentality, I've always liked, and as a kid especially, it's just been an interesting, like, kind of philosophy I've never seen a character really follow outside of, but that only works in an anime setting. Like, you couldn't write Goku as a superhero wearing, like, in the MCU or like DC or something, because it just wouldn't work. Like, He doesn't have, he's not Captain America where he's very stalwart and defending the values of the nation and all one for all and da da da. He's not Tony Stark where he's going to go on the journey of becoming this, playboy millionaire douchebag to being the guy who saves the universe. He's not Spider-Man where he's a scared, scrawny little nerd at first, then all of a sudden gets bit by a spider and is the greatest superhero ever. He's not Superman, as Superman is Captain America, very stalwart, blah, blah, blah. But that's not Goku. Like, he's just not like that. He's not written to be like that. And frankly, he's better for it. It makes Goku Goku. You know what I mean? Like, Goku's as recognizable as all those characters because he's not a ripoff of those characters, if that makes sense. Goku at this point is one of the, just instantly, everybody in the world knows who Goku is. I would be shocked if you were to mention Goku. That's just the one thing that is so synonymous with Dragon Ball, maybe besides the Dragon Balls themselves. And even then, I would be shocked if people didn't know what Goku was, but the Dragon Balls. Because the Dragon Balls, in my honest opinion, are not as iconic as Goku. Just for a simple fact. I feel like there are some people in this world, if you've never been into anything anime related or anything, you might not know what a Dragon Ball exactly looks like. You know what I mean? If you've never saw it on anything. But people just know what Goku looks like. They don't even have to know what he looks like. They can just picture it in their minds. It's like Spider-Man. It's like Superman. You don't even really have to know what he looks like. Just upon hearing the name, it conjures up the image. It just does. It's weird, but it's just how it works. He's just one of those iconic characters that will never go away, ever. Even when Dragon Ball officially ends, and I'm talking like ends, like there'll be no more sequels, no more Supers, no more GTs, no more Zs, just ends. It's over with, done forever. Even when that happens, he'll still be that character. And I think it's also just because Goku has changed. And it's interesting to say that about Goku as this character who has no earthly pursuits and all that kind of crap and just wants to live a life of training and solidarity, basically. To say that he's changed is very interesting, and even when I've repeated that he's kind of the same old Goku. But by that, I mean his morals and all that kind of stuff don't really change. But Goku as a person kind of changes, actually. Goku goes from being much more of a immature kid for how he fights to being much more of a respectful grown man who still acts like a goofy goofball, but a grown man. You see that maturity change. And then within that comes different understandings and philosophies that Goku takes. Now, I think also Goku is a character that, unlike Vegeta, and this is why Vegeta can't be number one, is because Vegeta grew up in a prosperous, pompous life. Goku didn't. And now Vegeta didn't really experience any true hardships until his planet was wiped out. But even then, Frieza spared him, particularly because he wanted him to be a henchman. And Frieza treated Vegeta pretty well. I mean, given all things considered, he still made him live like a prince. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, Vegeta never really grew up training under people either. You know what I mean? Whereas Goku wasn't blessed with strength. He had to train with people like Master Roshi, King Kai, and now Whis. So Goku's had the luxury of training with, great teachers who aren't just great teachers, but who are great people. You know what I mean? Like, so that in turn, so it's kind of reinforcing the philosophy of you can be Vegeta and you can try to do everything on your own, but you will always be one step behind the guy who's willing to accept help, willing to get help, willing to take help, willing to help others. You'll always be one step behind that dude because that dude will always have many connections. He'll train with many greater people. He'll learn technique. Can you ever see Vegeta letting someone like Master Roshi train him? Do you ever see Vegeta? And I'm talking the Vegeta of the past. Not Vegeta now. He might be a lot more, level-headed about it. But Vegeta never really Vegeta has met, and don't say, well, he's never met stronger people. He never asked Frieza to help him train. Just saying. Could have done that. I'm not saying Frieza would even have said yes, but you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying here? Like, Vegeta tried to do everything on his own, and he'll never be as strong as Goku. He'll be strong, but he will not be the best. And so that narcissistic attitude of his will never be justified because he will never be the best. because he's trying to do it all by himself. Now it's changing because you see Vegeta now trying to train with Beerus. So now Vegeta's actually getting somewhere. You see what I mean? Like, I kind of like that whole difference in philosophy. Vegeta believing that he can do everything all on his own, and that others shouldn't need help and all that kind of stuff, whereas Goku is kind of the inverse of that, where Goku is willing to train many people, show off skills of his own, but also learn that he doesn't know everything, and he will let his mind be, opened up by other people because he's not Vegeta where he's super closed-minded and thinks that he can do everything. I just kind of like that. I like that whole inverse. It makes Goku and Vegeta, not just two guys who happen to basically fight on the same. You know what I mean? Like, how many times do you see like a Naruto and a Sasuke kind of deal where they're almost the same? Not really, but like they have like basically the same philosophies. They just have two different ways of getting there. Whereas this is like almost two different ways of living, just two different ways of life and how you want to live life entirely. And I think it's just a very, very interesting, I guess, dichotomy would be the word for it, between Goku and Vegeta. Anyway, I go on and on about why I think Goku's a great character, but I'd make this video like 5 hours long. So, but my key thing was always when I first watched Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball. One of the key things that I always saw was very interesting was Bulma wants a boyfriend, Yamcha wants a girlfriend, Krillin wants something. I forgot what he exactly wanted. Everybody wants something out of the Dragon Balls. But if there's one key thing you'll always notice, it's not thrown in your face. It's not thrown right in your face. It's not even said. It's just something that you had to just be kind of smart enough to pick up on. What does Goku want? Crickets and silence, because we don't know. And in the original Dragon Ball, Goku doesn't really seem to want anything out of the Dragon Balls. He seems like he already has what he wants, and that is simply to get stronger. But I kind of like that whole thing about it too, because Goku could use don't tell me this. I'll say in the comment section below, please do not say that you can't use the Dragon Balls to get stronger, because apparently you can. Zamasu did it. Granola just did it. Frieza was gonna do it. So apparently you can just wish the dragon to make you stronger. Now exactly how strong? Who knows? Who cares? But all we know is it can work. So if Goku really did want it to, he could. And we know that the Super Dragon Balls can grant any wish, so in theory, if Goku ever wanted to, he could just gather up the Super Dragon Balls, wish to be the absolute strongest in the multiverse of all time, and ever will be, and ever was, and ever has existed, and or whatever he has to say. And because that's the thing about the Dragon Balls, they always have that little loophole, like, oh, I want to be the strongest, and it's like, okay, you're the strongest, but it doesn't say that you'll be the strongest of all time and that there ever will be, because someone could still surpass you. And you're not even going to be like stronger than the strongest person who was already the strongest person. You would probably be like maybe a couple times stronger than them, not like infinitely stronger. That's kind of, the Dragon Balls kind of work at a genie like that, and I always like that, but we're not talking about the Dragon Balls. That's a topic for a different video. Actually, in the comment section below, let me know if you guys actually want to hear a video about the Dragon Balls, because I've always wanted to do a video about it. They're so synonymous with the series itself. I think we should. I think I should sometime, but not today, not tomorrow, not the next day, and not the day after that. But yes, this has been my top 5 Dragon Ball characters. And one thing I've noticed as I was doing research for this video and writing stuff down, really kind of just checking up on my Dragon Ball knowledge, is these 5 characters are pretty much the characters with the most screen time. So I guess you could say that in theory, with Dragon Ball, I probably would have put Chaozu on the list if he just simply had a lot of screen time. But before we go, here are some quickly bonus round characters who I don't think get enough love, but I think should anyway, but didn't quite make the list because they don't have quite enough memorable moments as the series went on. But Krillin, how can we forget about our main man Krillin? Dude is a legend. Want to know why? Because here's the deal. I just said I'd run from Frieza. Basically, Krillin is us. He's got powers, but he's basically us. He can't go Super Saiyan. And he's not going to be, Krillin's going to cap out being about as strong as, Krillin's probably, I guess I would say this. Krillin's probably about as strong as, like, maybe at current day Krillin would probably be about maybe just now hitting Namek level power. You know what I mean? Like, just now hitting, like, Final Form Frieza. Maybe. That's a big maybe. He's definitely not as strong as the androids or any of that, so it doesn't matter. But Krillin is a character who I really like because he's kind of like that. He's like the nerdy superhero. He's very scared. He's not the strongest, but when it comes down to doing the right thing, it doesn't matter. Krillin will just jump in there and do it. He fought Frieza head on, knowing he couldn't win. This dude literally went at Perfect Cell. Like, come on, man. Would you fuck with Perfect Cell? I don't think so. So Krillin, for having balls of steel, and just being the guy who jumps in there to help his friends, no matter who the enemy was. Hell, even if it was Majin Buu, he literally jumped him. He literally flew at Super Buu to protect his daughter and Android 18. So the dude is a legend. Krillin's an MVP. Not to mention, it was him who kind of taught Gohan how to stay alive on Namek. It was him who has always been helping Goku. Krillin's just kind of underrated. He always has had the smart ideas too. It was him who came up with the idea to go to Namek. Krillin in general just he's always been there for the gang, and a lot of people just don't understand that Krillin is important. I know he's not the strongest. I know he's not any of that, but he's important. Another bonus character, Tien, kind of for the same reasons as Krillin, but I also like Tien because Tien has so many interesting techniques. But I have a theory that the Dragon Ball writers hate Tien. You just look up Japan hates Tien. All right, look up Japan hates Tien. And there's a nice, it's a 40-minute video, but he'll break it down for you, and I'll probably flash his name on screen so you know exactly who to look for. But if you look up Japan doesn't like Tien, it's a nice, like, 26 to 40-minute video, I think. That guy breaks it down. He's the same guy who kind of does I forgot his exact name, but I'll flash it on the screen here once I edit the video. But he's the same guy that did the whole Naruto as a self-made hypocrite kind of deal. But there's a lot of evidence that the writers don't like Tien that much. Or at the very least, they're purposely blocking him away and not letting us see him as a character. But other than that, other characters I guess I kind of like probably would be Yamcha. Yamcha I only like because he's a gag. I like how he's just, like, always thrown in there. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go do something super cool. And if you haven't seen Dragon Ball before, you would think Yamcha, just by off design, he's this badass, right? Like, he gets all the girls and all that. Like, he's meant to be, like, that badass guy, right? But then all of a sudden, Yamcha's always gets his ass kicked. It's super funny. And it's just kind of super funny. But outside of that, there aren't too many other Dragon Ball characters who I would say I really have any real affinity for. Maybe Bulma as well. Bulma is always slept on. I feel like if you're a girl, Bulma's probably your favorite character of all time. But for me, when I was a wee little lad, being just a wee little lad, I always wanted to see the Gokus and the Vegetas throw a massive super energy blast at Perfect Cell and Majin Buu and Frieza and Broly and, all these dudes. I didn't really care about Bulma and her little girly science shit. But nowadays, obviously being a full-grown adult, Bulma is easily one of the best Dragon Ball characters, but doesn't quite make my list just because she doesn't get enough memorable shit to do. It's just not compared to Piccolo, Gohan, Beerus, and Whis, and Goku, and Vegeta. Wow, I just realized all those characters are male. Maybe Dragon Ball should get canceled. Just kidding. Anyway, leave a like on the video. Actually, no, we're not even going to do all that shit. That shit's cringy. The next video that comes out will have to be next Tuesday, and it will probably be on Skyrim again. But at the same time, a lot of you have been mentioning that the Skyrim videos, you guys want to see more Oblivion. Here's the deal. I will only play more Oblivion and actually record footage of it if you guys allow me to turn down the stupid difficulty slider, right? It's not too difficult, but I'm level 50. I'm the max level in that game. I'm pretty sure that game's like 15 years old. If you guys really wanted to see it, you could see it already. You can find it for $9 at GameStop, all right? It's not hard. It's not a hard thing to track down, but I guess if you really wanted to see exactly how Oblivion is, you can just play yourself. God damn it. Nah, I'm just kidding. But Seriously, I will upload more Oblivion videos, but just know it's only taking so long because my brain doesn't want to sit through that massive difficulty slider because, you know, it's not difficult, but the enemy's just taking so long to kill now that I'm max level and on max difficulty, and all the enemies are bullet sponges, and it takes like 30 minutes to kill one dude at this point. You know, whereas when I record footage for Skyrim and stuff, it's a lot easier because I can just, you know, Skyrim. It doesn't have the same level issues as Oblivion. Jesus. But I don't know why I'm talking about the Elder Scrolls in a Dragon Ball video, but that will end this video for today. It's been the top 5 Dragon Ball characters. I will catch you guys next Tuesday, probably with, again, another Skyrim video, but I'll actually probably later this week do a pinup on the channel at some point. Keep an eye out for it. You know, be a vote. Because I do want to start recording on Fridays with and making a new mini series on the channel with Fallout Fridays. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Given that I do love Fallout and I don't really talk about it on the channel too much. Anyway, that is it. Now I got a lot of editing to do on a whole 1 hour video. Peace out.